sorry.
Hello, hello. My name is Sharpeyez,
And I am Crucifix.
and this is
WeCast.
where you play.
And WeCast.
My name is Sharpeyez,
And I am Crucifix.
and we've already said that.
You did. I don't know why you repeated it, but I was just going with the flow.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, yeah, let's watch a replay, bro.
Absolutely, brah.
It's looking like we are gonna have a good game in store for you. Now, do you know either of these players, Sharpeyes?
I actually do not, and our viewers can't see the screen yet.
Well, that's why I didn't say their names. So,
Absolutely. All right, switching the camera.
great. So it turns out Sharpeyes does know one of the players because it's him. It is Sharpeyes in the left-hand corner playing as the Red Zerg, who's in the upper right-hand corner. Sharpeyes.
It is looking like the blue Protoss Ant.
Ant, indeed.
Now, Crucifix, why do you suppose he chose the name Ant?
I feel like he feels small, and he feels a little insignificant because he keeps losing games. And he's like, you know what? I just don't feel very good about myself. I'm gonna call myself Ant, and that's pretty sad because you should call yourself something that would make you feel better instead of making you feel worse. But that was his choice. I'm gonna respect it because he can do whatever he wants.
Indeed.
Right. Now we do have some fun stuff going on. A little bit of probe, a little bit of overlord. Now, do you find that the overlords are sufficient scouts to get all the info you need early game, or do you ever want to send a drone over there to make sure you know exactly what's going on early game?
Well, technically I'm supposed to drone scout, but seeing as I'm very lazy, I opt to just send the overlord.
You could just call it. You could call it greedy if you wanted to make yourself sound cooler. Say, no, I'm not lazy. I just want the most mineral income as possible. So I'm just not going to scout. And it looks like, but on the other hand, this probe is waypointed to scout for at least several more waypoints to go. At least one more. So he got all the info he wanted, and it looked like he's chrono boosting some more probes out, which is good. We do have a Nexus first build coming from the Protoss. What a greedy build! But you know what? Versus a 13 hatchery Zerg player, I mean it's pretty funny because that wasn't a 13 hatchery, that was a 16 hatchery. So Sharpeyes, why did you decide to go spawning pool before hatch there?
Well, versus Protoss, I realized that going hatch first meant that I would get cannon rushed every game, and
Oh,
so that severely annoyed me, and going pool first actually circumvents that.
oh, so you can get two Zerglings out, kill that pylon before the cannon can get down, or at least the probe. It's a good idea.
Yep,
Good idea.
but if the probe sees pool first, he's probably not gonna even bother.
Oh, that's good then. So we do see a Nexus first into Forge, into Gateway from the Protoss player. I don't think he's had to cut any probes to do this, so that's good. He isn't building a probe right now, so that's either because he can't afford it, which that isn't true, or he's just distracted. But in any case, it's looking like a very economic build from the Protoss player. We'll see if it pays off for him.
Very interesting. He actually cut a few probes to toss down the 7x4 and one cannon.
Oh, he did. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. I was wondering because he could afford the probe, but he decided to hold off so that he could build the cybernetics core and the cannon at the same time, which makes sense because he did get his Nexus down before you got your natural expansion down, which is pretty crazy for a Protoss v Zerg. So we are looking at let's look at the units tab to see if it's been paying off for him. He does have 25 probes versus the 24 drones of the Zerg player, but on the other hand, Sharpeyez has 2 Zerglings and 2 Queens, so technically his army's bigger, but That's only if you can call as 2 Zerglings an army. And the Protoss player has a photon cannon, so those 2 Zerglings are basically useless against the photon cannon plus zealot mixture that the Protoss now has going on. Sharpeyez, did you see this early Nexus, and that's why you decided to go for this early third base up here?
Let me go ahead and check. I actually did not see the Nexus, but judging from the probes going back and forth, I deducted it.
It's interesting that you would keep an Overlord right by the natural expansion without checking in to see if he has one, but that is a strategy that some people employ. Most don't, I would say, but some would employ that, I guess.
I guess it's because I always assume that he is mining if I see any pylons or buildings.
Oh, so if you see a pylon if you see a pylon or any probe at all, then you're gonna just assume he has a Nexus.
Absolutely.
And you don't want to risk the death of your Overlord.
But I am kind of bad because I actually don't see how many gases the Protoss has gotten, so I actually don't even know what he's up to right now.
True, and speaking of which, he does have 6 guys on gas. He has a gas at his natural, which he just filled up with probes and is building a 4th. It's looking like he is going to try to tech up a little more. Protoss player is doing a really good job spending all his money right now, getting as many probes and gateways, and he turned all those into warp gates, getting a few more gateways. This is looking like some sort of 2-base all-in, possibly maybe, with some gas-heavy builds here, with some gas-heavy units coming to play, most likely. And meanwhile, it's looking like Sharpeyez is droning up. He doesn't now have 44 drones, which is more than the Protoss player, even though the Protoss player got his Nexus down before the Zerg player. And as far as army goes, it's really this: 1 Stalker, 1 Zealot, 2 Zerglings, 3 Queens, 1 Mothership Core. So really, it's a very even game. I mean, the supply count is 66 to 59, so the Protoss player has a small supply lead, but that's not really that big of a deal. But meanwhile, we do have this extremely interesting move across. It's looking like a big push is actually about to come. We have 3 Stalkers and like a bajillion sentries coming in with some Zealots to, I guess, just force field the enemy to death is what I'm assuming, because this is a lot of sentries, and we do have some more Zealots joining the fray, so it's looking like if Sharpeyez can't hold this off, he could be in some very big trouble. We do have a Spine Crawler at all 3 bases now, so that should at least help at least. We'll see if the Protoss player decides to go for the 3rd, or if he goes right into the natural expansion. Now, Sharpeyez, it looks like you have scouted this because of all the additional Spine Crawlers you're putting down at your natural. Oh, because of his move into your 3rd base here. At this point, did you say, okay, I'm not going to be able to defend this 3rd base, I'm just gonna give it up and then use that time to build up my resources at my natural and my main?
That's exactly what I did, since I kind of figured that my army wasn't big enough, judging from the units count. I did not have nearly as many units as I would like to, and that is why I let this base fall and just turtled behind some Spine Crawlers.
It was a good idea because the Protoss army was bigger than yours at the time, and you really didn't have too much at that 3rd base. You only had a few drones, 1 Spine Crawler. It wasn't really worth saving. I'm just saying that it's not like you were going to lose like 20 drones. You only lost a few, and you actually now you're right back in the drone count lead. So I think that was probably a good idea. And it's looking like the Protoss player is going to go ahead and try to move up this ramp, which is a bad idea considering how many Spine Crawlers are here. The Mothership Core, however, is going to get 5 shots off on that evolution chamber, which probably just changed the tide of this whole game.
It made it pretty upset.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the evolution chamber's sitting there like, I'm trying to not research upgrades right now, like, don't bother me. And the Spine Crawler is going to crawl. What is it called when a Spine Crawler hits an opponent? I'm gonna say it's called the stretch and stick. It stretch and sticks a stalker, but it doesn't end up killing it because one stretch and stick is not enough. It takes several, which is unfortunate. It looks like Sharpeyez is going to puke some creep onto his base to make sure that there's no empty creep spaces, which is a good idea. Now, once you puke creep onto your base, and it touches the other creep that is made by your layer, does that creep never go away, or does it go away once you stop puking it?
I honestly have no idea.
Well, maybe you should learn that. It's an important lesson. Now the army of Sharpeyez has gotten significantly bigger. Meanwhile, the Protoss army has fallen back to its own base. I guess he wants to build up. He now has High Templar on the field. He's got a Forge, getting those upgrades. Speaking of upgrades, let's see what we got. We have 2 attack for the Stalkers and for the Protoss player, and from the Zerg player we have 1 armor or ground carapace, if you will. So and we just the one attack just kicked in. So basically we're in a spot where the Zerg player will be able to can't hit quite as hard, but he can last longer, and the Protoss player has a wicked hit, but he will die twice as fast as the Zerg player. So I guess you could call it even, but it really depends on position at this point. If the Zerg player can get a good engagement, I think he would be in the lead. But if the Protoss player is able to catch the Zerg player off guard, that could lead to some pain for the alien encounter of the third time. Now we do have some Zerglings running into the third base of the Protoss, and a big engagement coming down. The force fields are actually quite good there, splitting the army completely in half, killing a couple Hydralisks, and it is going to cause the Sharpeyez to move on back towards his base. Not all the way, but just towards the middle of the map, so that he can regroup, take a breath. Now, Sharpeyez, at this point, were you saying to yourself, damn, this is crazy?
I was saying, holy macaronis.
Holy macaroni. Wow, what a storm dodge. And the second one, now I don't know if that was expert storm dodging by the Zerg player or terrible storm placement by the Protoss, but either way, both of those storms did almost nothing. And this is looking like it's going to be a very big engagement indeed. And honestly, right now...
We are switching to slow-mo cam.
Oh, wow. It's looking... honestly, this Protoss army, this little death ball, that is not looking too intimidating right now. It has no Colossi. It does have lots of High Templar, though. Plenty of Storm available. But I think there's going to be a massive Zerg surround there. The Storm is good. Plus the Time Warp, wow. Was able to kill lots of units there. All these Hydrals might go down. A big aggressive blink to try to catch as many of these as he can. And wow, that entire half of that Zerg army just kind of melted. But meanwhile, we do have some of the worst storms I've ever seen go down. He stormed himself about twice there, but oh my gosh, storm everywhere. Taking all those roaches down to almost no health, but it just isn't enough. He ended up storming himself and his mothership core, and that killed... I don't know if it killed...
And it will be looking like Crucifix.
Sorry about that. It definitely lowered his health significantly, and now we're in a position where the Zerg player will probably be able to just push right across the map and win the game. And let's see, it does take down... He is going into the third base. We'll definitely take this base. There is a big warping at the front here of Zealots and Stalkers. I don't know if it's going to be enough to take down this army, though. At this point, Sharpeyez has that very important second upgrade, 2-1, and the GG is called. Actually, no GG was called at all. But it looks like the Protoss was upset about his loss. But in any case, the Zerg player did a very good job at killing that Protoss, that alien robot aggressor.
Absolutely. All right, Minute Minder, Zerg player, go.
Pros. Very good macro. He responded to the Protoss build well. You didn't quite notice. You didn't see. I don't know if you knew exactly. Oh, he definitely went Nexus first. This is going to give me an opportunity to respond by being greedy myself. But you did see that he was mining from his base when they started mining. You noticed when he pushed out. You gave up your third base like you needed to build up in your own main, and you pushed out when you could to kill that army. Cons, I felt like some of the engagements that you put yourself in were less than ideal. You allowed a lot of storm to hit you. Even though you ended up winning that big battle, it was closer than it needed to be. He almost, I wouldn't say he almost won, but he got much closer to killing your army than he should have, as I felt like your army supply was way better than his.
Alright, minute perfectly.
Oh, I'm getting better at this.
And Minute Miner Protoss, go.
Protoss, pros. I thought that his initial build was very good. He went Nexus first, which is greedy, but he pulled it off enough to be able to get his bases going, get that advantage that he wanted to. He never quite had the harvester. He never quite had the harvester advantage. Like he never really had more, but he had almost equal, which is actually really good versus a Zerg. And he was able to use that chrono boost to chrono boost not only his probes but all of his other buildings. So I thought his build was pretty good. He had a really big force that was bigger than what you had when he moved out. And I thought that was really good of him. Cons, I thought he was way too passive when he moved out. He killed your third base, and I know that there were all those spines there. I get that, but the fact that he just sat there and didn't macro as well as you did caused him to have an army that was much less. He should have gotten some Colossi out. He should.
Absolutely, and the
like
minute
that.
is
No!
up.
The High Templars were good, but you should have gotten more Colossi.
And Crucifix sneaking that last bit in there.
I did indeed.
What a cheater. Yep,
But,
so
yeah, it was a good game. I liked it a lot.
it was good. So in case you guys didn't know what the Minute Miner was, basically Crucifix has to list pros and cons in less than a minute, or else he fails.
I do, and most of the time I do fail, but when I get it good.
Getting it good indeed.
Get it good. But yeah, it's a fun new thing we're doing. Why is it called the Minute Miner?
Minute Minder.
Minder?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know, because this is the only the second time we've done it, so I didn't know what it was called. The Minute Minder. Maybe it should be called like the minute. Okay,
Minute.
well, like
the hot minute.
the sexy minute. Okay, maybe not that.
How about minute on the spot?
Minute on the spot. Yeah,
No.
we'll brainstorm. Actually, anybody watching this on YouTube, why don't you shoot us a comment below, telling us what you think that the minute wrap up should be called.
Absolutely, we would love to hear your thoughts.
Indeed, we would. So, in any case, I think that this has been a good game and a fun one to cast, but I think we're gonna have to go ahead and call it a day. So, I am Crucifix.
And I am Sharpeyez. And until next time,
Keep on playing.
keep on keep on playing indeed.
Dude.